Hello everyone, I am back with another creation inside the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. This time we're doing Vesemir from Witcher 3. Now this one's a little difficult because a lot of the imagery I was finding online was kind of inconsistent with how he was being displayed. So I did my best to kind of create him. The nice thing about this one is the base head that we're using leaves a lot of room for customization. So we're using base head number 7. And for the skin, we're using number 40 with skin color 59, the wrinkles maxed out, and the skin sheen at 20. Now, if you guys are feeling like his look isn't right at any point throughout this, feel free to make changes to the sliders, because like I said, this base head actually has a lot of customization in it, because it seemed like almost every slider started right in the middle at 0, so there's plenty of room to work with. With that being said, let's start jumping into these options. We're looking at a 190 for height, a minus 22 for torso length, type 19 on his muscles. I got his muscle strength set to 50. His traps are at 0. You could increase these if you want. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's give him some traps. 36. Upper body mass is at 75. His lower body mass is at 20. His upper body size is at minus 35. And his lower body size is at 0. For the head, you'll see here, like I said, a lot of stuff is almost right in the middle on this. His head size I currently have at minus 12. Could actually probably go back up on this a little bit. And the I'm going to drop down his neck length. They're going to do a couple of live changes here. Okay, so head size 18. I'm at 0 for length, 0 for width, 0 for depth, 1 for his face height, and minus 28 for his length on his neck. And thickness we are at, we could probably go up a little bit on this. Let's go to 30 on the neck thickness. For his upper body, I'm at 6 shoulder width, negative 62 for shoulder size. His chest thickness is at 30. His chest size is at 70. His torso width is at 28. His torso depth is at 60. Arm length, he's at minus 32. Arm size, he's at 6. Upper arm thickness 17. Forearm thickness minus 6. For the lower body, I've got his waist width at minus 6, his waist size at minus 32, his rear size is at 100, leg size is at 18, his thighs are at 5, and his calves are at 30. For his posture, I've got him at a movement style of 2, an elbow angle of 50, a knee angle of 34, and a posture of 23. As always, feel free to make any changes here that you want. Now, let's take a look at his facial settings. For his brow height, I have it at minus 98. His brow spacing, I have minus 37. His brow depth overall is at 17. His inner depth at 17, and his outer depth is at minus 41. For the brow angle, I have at 100, and the brow bend I have at minus 10. For his eyes, I had him at an eye height of minus 89. The eye width is at minus 17. The eye depth is at minus 41. His eye size is at 0, his eye angle at 21, and his squints are both around 22. For his nose, I have his nose length at 87, his bridge width is at minus 40, his bridge height is at minus 5, all of his bridge bumps are set to 0, his nostril size is at 16, his nostril height I have at 59, the width at 20, and the tip depth is at 26, tip angle minus 19, and the tip sharpness at minus 100. I saw a lot of inconsistencies on how his nose is displayed on online imagery, so feel free to make any changes here that you feel are necessary. For the ears, I got them at full zeroed out. Like I said, this base head has a lot of customization options left open to it, so feel free to change up his ears if you want. I thought the base normals around everything zeroed out looked pretty good for his model. On the cheeks, the cheek neck thickness minus 35, cheek bulge minus 58, the neck fat is currently at 0, his cheek height I have at 24, his cheek width at 14, and his cheek depth I have at 99. For his mouth, literally didn't touch it. I left everything zeroed out. It seemed fine. Most of it gets covered up by his stash anyways. Feel free to make changes. For his jaw and chin, I have his jaw definition at 16, his jaw width at minus 45, his jaw position 27, his protrusion is at 0, his chin height at minus 77, his chin width is at 0, his chin protrusion is at 53, and the sharpness is at 0. Moving on to the hair. For his hairstyle, I went with number 26 for him. It gives him this kind of mid-range hair, pulled back into a little braid on top here. It is shaved on the sides. Normally this would be also hair pulled back, but I thought that this one closely matched his look. For the root color, I went with 11 and the tip color 13 with a blend of 98 and a sheen position of 51. For the eyebrows, we're at a number 5 eyebrow with eye color of 6, or a color of 6 and thickness at 70. For the facial hair, I went with the number 16. There's a couple of variations in here you might want to look at. The only problem was, of course, none of them match his exact facial hairstyle because he does have a little goatee here too usually. So feel free to browse those and change it up if you want. I'm doing number 16, root color 11, tip color is 12. I did 100 for the blend, 50 for the sheen position, and 13 for the sheen. I don't have any body hair on him. For his eyes, I have them the same as Geralt, except instead of doing eye number 2 variation, I think I decided eye number 1 for some reason. I'm going to switch this back to 2. I forgot to change it. So there we go. We're at 137 for the primary, 87 for the secondary, 87 for the tertiary, 107 for the sclera. His pupil size I have at his iris size I have at minus 29. His pupil size at minus 39. For the eyelashes, I think I left everything as they came. I'm at type 1, 1, 1, 0 for root, blend, 44 for length, and 18 for density. Eyeshadow. This is going to add this kind of slight aged discoloration between like his under eye and his upper eye area where his bags are. So it's going to be, I'll show you without it. This is what it looks like without. So it's going to be number 2. It's 49 for the color 1, 45 for color 2. I have the intensity at 20. Coverage is at 100, opacity at 55, so you can adjust this to add more or less. I thought 55 was perfect. It's 0 metallic and 50 for the sheen. For the eyeliner, we're doing number 5. I'll show you without it. This is what it looks like without. This is with the back turned on. Very subtle. I'm just adding a dark outline to the kind of the inner portion of his eye area here. So number 5, number 1 for color, 16 for coverage, 42 for opacity, and 40 for sheen. Now he does have some like age kind of like pock marks, or I forget what blemishes on his face. I'll show you without. So this is what his face looks like without any freckles. To kind of add in that kind of blemished look, I went ahead and turned on freckles number 5 with a color of 1, and I set the opacity to 35. Feel free to play with this to get some different looks on him. Once again, I'll show you, this is what he would look like without them. I think it looks more charismatic to his character and his overall look if we go with this. Obviously, he doesn't have that many in his actual model, but we got to make do with what we got. No changes to the cheeks, no changes to the lips, and no changes to the teeth. The last and final thing we have here is we have a slight scar above his eye. So this is going to be body scar style number 5. The vertical position is 56. The horizontal position is 7. The rotation is 11. The overall scale is 3. I set the opacity to 100, the intensity to 64, and this sheen to 70. And that's going to be it. So yeah, let me know if you guys think that this matches his character closely. Obviously, like I said, make any changes you feel necessary. I've got plenty of other characters created on my channel. I've got Geralt, I got Yennefer, I got Ciri, and tons of others. Feel free to take a look. If you guys got ideas for other characters that you'd like to see, don't be afraid to drop a comment down below. I may or may not be able to create them depending on how difficult they are, or if I feel like I don't want to attempt it. So that's going to be it for this one. You guys take care, whatever time it is in your part of the world. Have a good day, a good night. I'm out. Deuces.